Hi, my name is Sam Johnson and I'm a voice teacher. Today I'll be reacting to and analyzing Teddy Swims performing a cover of I Can't Make You Love Me, which is one of my favorite songs ever. I think the Bonnie Raitt version is incredible, but the one that really got me was Bon Iver's cover of it. So if you haven't seen that, I suggest going and looking at that. But it's just one of those amazing songs that I think at this point has just become a standard, and it's worth learning for pretty much anyone. Are his headphones over his hoodie? No.
Turn down the lights, turn down the bed, turn down these voices inside my head.
He's using a lot of extra breath sound, so what happens when that happens is the totality of the vocal folds just like isn't together. It basically means there's a little bit of extra air escaping. So with the sound of my speech right now and with the sound of a lot of more full sounding voices, all of the vocal folds are coming together, and most of them are coming together in terms of the verticality of the vocal folds. You'd have to actually take a scope to see exactly what's happening with it, but it's one of those things. In reality, it's just like a little bit of extra air is coming through. And what I'm always listening for is the balance of air and muscle. So what I'm hearing with that, is that a balanced voice? No, but I trust that he'll probably go to that more balanced sound later, where if he was stuck with this, if this was his default, to me, that would be a problem. But most of the time, it's not something that professional singers are stuck in.
Just hold me close. Don't patronize.
Yeah, I think it's really impressive to be able to go back and forth between that breathier place and the more full sound. So you can do it on a messa di voce kind of exercise where you can either do it without going breathy or with going breathy, and I'll show a demonstration of both. So if I'm doing it with the not breathy one, the point of the exercise is to try to crescendo, which means to get louder, and then diminuendo or decrescendo on the same note while holding on to a similar tonal color or vowel shape. So if you're going, that's the exercise. And doing that, being able to do that on all of your notes is really good. If you wanted to start with a little bit more breathiness to kind of work towards something like what he's doing, then you just start at breathier, but ask for the same kind of swell. And it's difficult, like especially coming back down is really, really hard. So I'm always really impressed when singers are able to go back and forth with such ease.
Don't patronize.
He lets a little bit of gravel come into his voice, a similar thing to kind of what Chris Stapleton does. I love that sound, man. I've never heard this guy. He's really good.
'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't.
Yeah, and when he comes back down to the bottom, he lets a little bit of that vocal fry sound come in. Love, love, love. It's using that sound, which is kind of difficult to make if you're singing high volume, at least with lower notes. In order to get like a high sound that has a lot of grit to it, it's a similar thing. It just is generally quite a bit louder, at least if you're doing a full voice sound underneath it. But yeah, I'm not hearing any like weird pushing at the top of his range right now. He sounds really good and easy.
And you can't make your heart feel.
I'm also really impressed with that U, because it was up on the A flat, which when you get up into that area, depending on the voice type, a lot of people will need to start opening their mouth a little bit more, modifying that vowel toward more of a yo instead of you. But we got a very clear you, where we didn't need to go yo. But depending on the voice, you might need to do that a little bit more when you start getting up into those higher notes.
Something it won't. Here in the dark.
On the here, he kind of drops his jaw. He's not here in the.
In this final hour, I will lay down my heart, and I feel the power, but you won't.
Also, I haven't really talked about language and articulation in the way that I'm about to much before, because I think that just it's over thought about, and too many people will just adjust it too much and try to be understood a lot. And I think that in most cases, at least with pop rock music, like, you're gonna be understood enough, and it's okay to relax it a little. But you won't. He puts the ch in it. It just sounds a little more vernacular and nice. I thought that was good. You also see he's keeping his eyes closed for most of this, which I generally counsel to not do that. And that's just because if you're performing in front of people and your eyes are closed like that, you are not including them in what you're feeling as much. And often it's not my favorite choice. However, I think it can be quite powerful when used sparingly. But with this, I'm actually not that bothered by it. One, because it's a studio performance and it kind of feels more like we're just observing him in the studio rather than like he's performing for us. And also, he's just so in it with his body, his physicality, and you can see on his face that he's feeling all of these things. And with the camera up this close, it works fairly well. But as soon as you start getting in front of a bigger audience, I feel like this works less and less. Can it work? Sure. Absolutely. And you see a lot of very high level pop singers spend a lot of time with their eyes closed. Learn how to open your eyes so that it becomes a choice. Watch videos back of yourself performing with it both ways. This is a very important thing. I think it kind of overhauled how I interpret songs and act songs. And this was taught to me by Mark Reynolds. It's really just revolutionary to me. And I don't think enough people focus on this kind of stuff. Is if you look at the lyric, think of an image that would motivate you to say that lyric. Imagine that lyric outside. Then you picture that lyric, you picture that image, and then you react by singing. And then suddenly we go from like, I'm in my head, I might be picturing it, but it's still just like in my head. And so it's not going to be very expressive most of the time. Then we see it and then we react and we're just in it and we're reacting to that thing, because that's what good acting is reacting.
So I cannot see.
He's got a lot of soul.
Love that you don't feel.
On that don't, he added a little bit of nasality. Love that you don't. And he put a little bit of that growly sound on top of it.
When you're holding me, morning will come.
I love those onsets where he uses just that gentle ma. He does it way better than I did right there, but it's just such a gentle on.
And I'll do what's right. Just give me till then to give up this fight. I will give up this fight.
So he went up higher. He's opening his mouth, but he's not over opening it. And that's a tricky balance where a lot of people will default to either under opening. So if they were singing that lyric and they were under opening it, it'll kind of be, and I would give up this fight. That's not very much space between your teeth. The pillow of air between your teeth is not there. The jaw is not coming down very much. Or a lot of people will over open. I will give up this fight. That doesn't work really well either. He finds that place in the middle. I will give up this fight. And it's important to find that place. So it's important, I think, to find what you default to do. Do you tend to over-open or over-close as you start going toward higher notes? And then sometimes exaggerate the opposite of it until you can break out of that habit and then find what is the most comfortable middle place. But the fact that he's doing that shows that he's a very experienced singer.
'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't.
He's so expressive with his lips.
And you can't make your heart feel something it won't.
Yeah, he does so much of that. To me, it's not something that he's trying to make his face look like that. However, I do think that's how a lot of people learn, is they see really high level, especially like gospel singers, kind of doing similar things with their face, and then they kind of imitate it. But by doing the motion, a lot of times people will start knowing what it feels like, what the emotion feels like, that is motivating that facial emotion. The same idea of picturing something out there, we're reacting to it, and then it forces us to react and for our body to take these shapes. However, we need to kind of pretend sometimes just so that we get this repertoire, this library of expressions that we can use when reacting. But I don't think that he's like consciously, okay, I'm gonna do this with my face. It's just happening because he's feeling this a lot. Same thing is kind of happening with his upper lip. It kind of is going into the snarl sometimes, which just makes you feel in a slightly different way. And it also brightens up the sound a little. And that just gives us a slightly different sound. So we're getting all of this textural variety, tonal variety.
Every thought in this final hour, I will lay down my heart, and I feel the power, but you won't. No, you won't.
I don't think he breathed between that, but you won't. No! Part of it shows when you're singing pop music and rock music, you don't need huge breaths most of the time. And while it is very helpful to work on nice deep breathing, in that it's not clavicular breathing. So clavicular, your collarbones or your clavicles. So people call it clavicular breathing if it's just up high, it's high chest breathing, or if you're holding your stomach so tight as we all do. A lot of us are so self-conscious about our stomachs that we just like hold them in all the time, or it becomes very hard to break out of it sometimes. But even when we're singing pop music, we want to let the diaphragm kind of drop. So the diaphragm is a big pancake-shaped muscle that is at the bottom of your rib cage. And if you let that drop, it kind of displaces all of your guts and pushes it out. So you'll feel, a lot of people feel more of a 360 expansion where the front of their stomach, the sides, the obliques kind of come out, and the back will even come out. And that happens just because those muscles relax in a way that allows the diaphragm to come down. And I have a video on it called The Basics of Breathing that I think is pretty useful if you have not been exposed to that kind of stuff before. But you can see with him, like, he didn't need very much air for it. He's not taking these gasping breaths in order to get through all of this stuff. He's just taking nice, comfortable breaths. And it actually, because of how well he's using his air, he's able to get through fairly decent sized phrases without needing to overfill his tank. Because I think that overfilling is almost as dangerous as underfilling.
'Cause I can't make you love me.
Yeah, he's totally in the emotion.
And you can't make your heart feel something it won't. Every thought.
I love that you could hear just a little bit of like under pitching, but it shows how good his pitch is with all of this. I'm not hearing really any melodyne. I also could just be wrong. But like that one, it felt like just a few cents under, and that makes me feel like the rest of it is probably just right on because he's a great singer and he's got really great pitch matching skills and a really good ear.
'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't.
Then he's back to the same sort of sounds he was making at the beginning. What a journey.
There's sweat in my eyes. I'm not really crying though. It looks like it though, don't it?
Yeah, I mean, it would have looked like it. I loved that. I thought that was really good. That's a great song. Yeah. There are all of these songs like the I Can't Make You Love Me that to me have moved into kind of great American songbook territory where it's just they're standards. At this point, most people know it. If you learn these kind of songs and you go to an open mic or to a performance where someone's playing, like most pianists will be able to follow with songs like this or Adele's the cover. What one was it? It was the Bob Dylan song, the Make You Feel My Love. That one, like there are a handful of these songs that just become so well known that it's really worth adding into your repertoire, and that everyone sings regardless of your voice type. Everyone is able to do it, and it's okay to just key it into your own key and find what key works really well for you. So thank you for watching. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what some of your favorite songs that have become kind of standards are. I would love to know more of those, because it's such a fun topic to think of, and how those songs work their way into culture. So leave a comment below, check out all my links. I love you guys. Stay safe. Peace out.